Okay, back continuing. Segment 30, Drama Part 2, Escaping the Victim Mindset. The first thing is, do you really want more of this? I sure hope not. Slow down, notice and name your feelings. Notice, name, and color, then shift your red power-robbing storylines. So one of my early experiences with this was a very important client, and she's complaining about the New York office is putting requirements on them for reporting that's driving their costs through the roof, wasting money, frustrating people. So we sat down and we built a 4D request, and I drafted the letter for her. We appreciate the fact that you're trying to run the company in the most efficient possible way, and we completely support you doing this, and we want to be as helpful as we can. Shared interest? It would be better for both of us, I'm sure, if we were able to find a more efficient way to get these data to you. And plus, since we're all partners here, more efficiency put more money in our pockets. Go down into relationship. We sure want to work together with you on this, because when we get through with this, I'm hoping our people can function together even better. Then you might toss out a reality. The reality is we can do a whole lot better than we're doing today. And what I'm also really clear on is that with a little work, we could have a very, very wonderful outcome. Finally, would you be willing to put a team together? I've got 4 people who can come to New York whenever you're ready and get to work on this and wrap this up in the next couple of weeks. So there you are. We'll close with one thing on the victim, that we all engage in light recreational complaining. I'll call up one of my friends and say, you know, I just need a minute to vent about this. Can you listen to me? And if the complaining is light and doesn't take you into victim, then there's no problem. The problem with the victim is that it takes you into a state of helplessness when you want to be able to respond. Hero rescuer starts with love group. You yearn for approval and validation. Someone brings you work you probably shouldn't take, and you say, sure, I want to do it. And you do it. End up exhausted, bothered by it. I should not have done it. I should not have done it. And by the way, this is a great example. We often move around through different drama states. So it's not uncommon for the victim, after a while now, to turn into blamer and blame the boss for the state they're in. Benefits? Get to feel needed. Plenty of blamers to help you do this. You avoid having to say no, which can be very uncomfortable for some people, especially to authority figures. The cost? Chronic overwork, stress, inappropriate relationship. In the end, you feel used by others. The exit strategy. I think the best thing to do is buy a little time, because while I'm not prone to this myself, people who are tell me that it's really true. In that moment, they absolutely want to do the work. So say, you know, could you let me think about this? I'll get back to you soon. Then you say no 4-dimensionally. You know, I really appreciate what you're trying to do here, and I want to support you best I can. I have a lot of admiration for you. I think you'd agree it's in both of our interests to finally do jobs that I can do well for you. And, you know, I want to help make our relationship as good as I can, and I also want to live in integrity with respect to my life and you as well. And agreeing to do things I can't do does not support my integrity. The reality is that I'm just swamped. However, I've got an idea. I've got a friend who does this kind of work with a small business, and they're very reasonable, and I have some funds set aside. How about if I contract this work out now and in the future? Is that something you'd agree to let me do? I want you to see that this probably, do this sincerely, this will probably work, and it does not bring the confrontation of a power struggle. The rationalizer. This is interesting. This starts with fear group, anxiety. You go into, it doesn't really matter when it does, and you get temporary relief. Unfortunately, the anxiety comes back. It doesn't really matter to repress the emotions again. Round and round and round you go. This doesn't stop. The reason is that you can't overcome a whole body phenomenon, emotions, with a cerebral cortex generated idea. The benefits: you get to repress uncomfortable feelings. It feels intellectually good. Sure seems better than the alternative, sitting in that suffering. The cost: relief is temporary. Energy stuck up in your head, distracting and exhausting. Stephen Covey: feelings that are buried alive stay alive. Next, the blamer. I'm not going to talk about how to escape the rationalizer. I think it's a really good thing to work on with a coach. A little bit more tricky. The blamer state. Now, this is one I do have problems with. I've got a black belt in blamer, and the problem that I've got is that the things that make me mad are things like this. When someone pulls out in front of me on the highway in a way that if something were to go slightly wrong, we couldn't avoid having a collision, puts my life at risk. Those things that make me angry. When I feel the anger coming, I know it's unhealthy, so I say, is this the hill I want to die on? And the answer is no. Look at this. People have been thinking about this for a very long time. Anyone can become angry. That is easy. But to become angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not easy. I came across this book some years ago, a fascinating story. The guy was a medical student. He became interested in the effects of hostility on health. So he devised a little test and gave it to his classmates about how prone they were to become hostile. And what he found was people that were prone to be hostile were 7 times as likely to have died by the age of 50 when he followed his classmates through life. Prone to being angry was worse, more injurious to your life than smoking, high blood pressure, and heart disease. This is another really good reason to run this storyline. Is this the hill I want to die on? Because it might really be. The blamer starts, I believe, with scared group. It starts with fear of being blamed. It goes into it's your fault. And then you invoke mad. Now, mad's an interesting emotion. Mad group emotions are very powerful, and psychologists call them cover-up emotions. They actually can mask other uncomfortable emotions, and anger can feel better than being scared, especially, I think, to aggressive people and maybe men. The storyline is, I need to punish you. Benefits: you get to repress your experience of fear. You feel temporarily powerful. You enjoy energy from the adrenaline rush. Costs: when the fear returns, you got to recycle. This makes massive emotional side withdrawals, and it can kill you. This is really fascinating. When you're in this state, your assignment of blame is both clear and wrong. And I have friends that think that the biggest addiction in America, at least, is adrenaline. And this is an adrenaline-producing thing. And even Freud said the blamer state is self-anger directed outward. So let's play a little bit with this. I want you to take your finger and put it in the blamer configuration, like the image. Turn to someone nearby and say, it's your fault. It's your fault. Get everybody in the room doing this. Do it yourself. It's your fault. It's your fault. People start laughing, and I say, I want you to notice what happened. Did you feel the adrenaline rush? Did you feel the energy in the room pick up? Everyone got a little happier. So the antidote is we want to go into the state of curiosity. So put your fingers in the curiosity configuration, which is like the picture. Oh, by the way, I want to notice when you're in the blamer state, 3 of your fingers are pointed back at you, which is completely appropriate. So get into the curiosity configuration, like the picture shows. Make the curiosity sound, I wonder what my role is in creating this mess, and push this into you, all 5 fingers. Gary might do that a few times. And then there's another method that I used early on. In the earliest days of this, I really had problems with anger. So I did this literally as it stands right here. So now I'm going to demonstrate it for the class. So I'd go in front of the class, and I'll stand in front of the projector, and I'll say, look, I need your help. So when you hear me blaming or complaining, I want you to direct me over to this area of the room. I make these circles on the projected circles, match circles on imaginary circles on the floor. When you hear me wondering about my role, I'll go over here. So I tell this story about my boss hired this guy who was a budget analyst to run the budget division. Man, that guy was a moron. He just made trouble for me. And so I go on and on with the story, and I sit over here. And then as I'm telling this story, I would come back and say, you know, I realized I didn't like the guy before I even knew anything about him. I wonder what it was. And so I do that cycle 4 or 5 times, and you should take some example of your own or go read mine in more detail and how NASA builds teams and demo this exercise if you like. I don't think there's any need for the class to do this, but it's kind of fun, kind of lighthearted thing everybody enjoys. Now have them go to their workbook and do this work. And then as it says, tell them to fill out the next slide before they talk, because it's too awkward to go do a slide, go back to talking, and then go back and do a slide again. So let them discuss both of these slides and these 2 entries in their workbook. Then we go to our normal takeaway slide. Opportunity for comments or questions. And that wraps up drama. Next is accountability. Thank you for watching and listening. Take care. Bye-bye.